I want to take a moment to speak with you about BetterHelp, a sponsor of the Katrina Johnson Show. You know I'm big on inspiring people to live their best lives, but sometimes we need a little more than words of inspiration. When mental health interferes with your daily routine and lifestyle, you need someone to confide in that can help you with sorting through your emotions. That's exactly what BetterHelp is all about. It's professional therapy done securely online and is available to clients worldwide. With BetterHelp, you can get your needs assessed and be matched with your own licensed professional therapist. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your therapist. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. Remember, living your best life begins with taking care of your mental health. BetterHelp, a sponsor of the Katrina Johnson Show, wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit betterhelp.com/KJ Show. That's BetterHelp, HELP, and join the over 500,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And here is a special offer for the Katrina Johnson Show listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/KJ Show. Welcome to another episode of the Katrina Johnson Show, the inspirational podcast providing information and inspiration for your transformation. I'm your host, Katrina Johnson, helping you with your self-improvement and growth mindset journey. So grateful to have you as a listener. Thank you in advance for sharing, rating, and supporting my show. My special guest, Trey, also known as The Glue, started his music career working for a record label as head of marketing before advancing to management. Since then, he has created a promotional service called TGPR. He personally promotes 9 artists and 2 DJs. Trey has a playlist that's sponsored by Spotify titled Free Game Podcast. He is an official Spotify curator, A&R representative, and DJ for his label, GYDO Management. He's also the host of the #1 music showcase show on Twitch. His passion is to help artists break into the music industry independently. Hello, Trey. Thank you so much for allowing me to interview you today. I really am appreciative of you spending your time just to help inspire someone else out there that might need to have some words of inspiration to get through a challenging time or to overcome. I think your story is going to really touch home and really resonate with some of our listeners. So thank you for being on my show.
You're welcome. I very much appreciate it.
Great. All right. So, Trey, I know a little bit about you in reading your bio. Let's just start by sharing with the audience how life was for you as a child coming up. Where were you born? Just share a little bit about your background.
Oh. Well, I was born Harrisburg, PA. I remember the street name like it was yesterday. Green a Minute, way before, what is that called? They have the old or new uptown now. It's not like how it is today, but it was real ghetto. I remember growing up real poor. Just watching my mom and my aunt, struggle as single parents. And, I think at that time it kind of instilled in me to do better. Like, I wasn't really out in the streets or I was really just to myself. I really didn't go outside much. I was a homebody kind of guy and kid. And I was telling my lady something yesterday about how my mom used to punish me. You know, sometimes I used to get whippings and stuff, but my mom used to be like, you can't go outside today, so read this book. And after you read this book, if you want to go outside, the next day I need a certain amount of words, or she used to make me write book reports.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I got like growing up as a single child, the people that I've met that were single children, women and men, we always had that huge imaginative ability because, we don't have no brothers and sisters. And I think me reading books just brought out a different person in me. My peers that was, immediately in my face in school, it was a long time. I think for like 3 years. I think I kind of got this idea from Steve Harvey, and I just like the presence of a black male in a suit and what that brings, and the kind of aura it brought. And I think I remember certain from 4th to 5th to 6th grade, I wore suits every day to school.
Is that right?
Yes, I was always an outcast because I didn't mind being myself at that age. I can't really say my childhood was steered in a way. Even though we came from a city situation, my household and the people that were mother figures and father figures to me allowed me to be me, and not push me or cater to a direction that was normal.
That's a really good thing to have, because that shows leadership. So you're a leader, not a follower. And I try to instill that in all my children. Be a leader, not a follower. That's awesome. And the fact that your mom encouraged you to read, that's phenomenal, because I used to get on punishments too. Stand in the corner, or got the whipping. And I was a good child. I wasn't really a terrible child, but I had my share of getting punished. But my parents didn't say, okay, now read a book. I think that's great that your mom did that, because she instilled in you at an early age the importance of reading and educating yourself. And the fact that you were an only child, so you didn't have the siblings, the support in that way, huh? You were just you and your mom, basically? And I think you mentioned your aunt.
There was a good time, like, I have a great, I'm 35 now, and I have a great, I don't need a woman to cook for me or do laundry stuff for me like that, And not saying it's not cool to have or it's okay to have, I just remember times where I had to wake up by myself to go to school, take my clothes, make my food, and then come home and then read my mom's notes and then carry it out to the team. I had to do laundry by myself. Me being in that predicament and my mother being a single parent, just fast forwarded me a little bit than my parents actually had. Two parents, two parents who figures in their household.
Right.
It just taught me stability and knowing how to take care of myself.
Yeah, self-sufficiency. And that's good. And I think it's very good for men to, be able to cook for themselves and, do their laundry. I think that's a good thing that, a man should be able to, in case he doesn't have a woman or a wife or what have you, is self-sufficiency. I think that's great. So you were given some really good tools. Your mom did a phenomenal job, I believe. I haven't even met your mom, but it sounds like she did a phenomenal job as a single parent. So that's what
I think that she did what she can do with the circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes good mothers, taking nothing and making something.
Right. Right. So, so basically, you were in a single family household, and in Pennsylvania. Now, is that where you're living now? You still in that area, or?
Yeah, I still live in PA.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm like
PA. Okay.
closer to state now than Harrisburg City.
Okay. All right. And so you were pretty much in your own lane in school. You wore suits. What did the other your peers, your fellow classmates say about that? Did they think, oh, he's too cool, or hey, did they admire you? What was that like?
And I hate to say this because I think our culture, the Black culture, does this to people like me and men or females that have just, I don't want to say oddness or craziness. It's just, they're accepting themselves and not taking what's put in front of them to be true, or this is the way you have to walk and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. I won't lie. It was. I got bullied a lot. Only time girls would accept me is when they needed help with homework and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I see.
But I think I know once I got like the 5th and 6th grade, the bullying stopped. My growth spurt shot, and then I come from a single mother. My mom, was raised in the same predicament, and she taught me how to fight. You don't run from people. You know what I mean? You pick and choose your battles, but at the end of the day, if you have to fight, you fight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a time where people like, oh, we're not messing with him because he's gonna fight us back, but he still had him. It wasn't really until I went to boarding school where I was accepted as a individual the way I thought, even though boarding school was primarily white. I ain't run into any racism while I was in boarding school.
You said you weren't running from what now?
I didn't run into any racism while I was in boarding school.
Now, how did that go? What path led you to the boarding school?
I remember my mom made me sign up for some tests while I was in 6th grade, while I was still in kindergarten. And I just thought it was another like school test or something. And I scored pretty high. And then unknowingly, her and my uncle, Tony, who used to go to Hershey School too, was shopping my grades to see if I can get in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was accepted.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you had to be at a certain level academically to enter the boarding school?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It all depends on the periods of time. I can give a little bit of Hershey's history as far as I remember of how he came out with the boarding school aspect. Hershey came up with the Hershey chocolate bar. We're all familiar with the Hershey chocolate bar.
Right.
So he was an orphan. He took a lot of those proceedings and came up with an orphanage school type called Hershey School. Over the years, it just transferred and transformed into something very big and conglomerate where you can get in because of high grades, or you can get in from financial harshmanships, your parents, single mothers, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get into that school a lot of ways.
Okay. That's interesting because I don't know very much about boarding schools, and it always, when I hear it, I think about some of the movies you see where there's an orphanage kid and they go to, I don't know, a boarding school. So excuse my ignorance, but I don't know very much about boarding schools. So this is something that I'm learning. You're teaching me something here. Okay. So Hershey in Philadelphia, that's where Hershey's came, made it big, right? from
Yeah, Hershey
Philadelphia.
P. And,
Okay. So they created or started a boarding school. Okay, you got in there because your grades were great. And what was that like for you? Did you like the boarding school? You started to tell me that you didn't find any racism
um,
there.
no, but it was, even though I didn't, it was still weird for me to accept um, a white person telling me what to do. And I don't mean that in any way, harm, shape, or form. It's just, the circumstances where I came from. Um, Caucasian men or females I saw were law enforcement or teaching. So it was always ways that I can just get around it, or I only have to deal with you for a certain amount of hours. It was just different. I have to stay here. Like, so,
Yeah.
I know I had my fits and stuff, like my, immediate pushbacks because I'm not understanding the system or why you're doing this and why it is. But that first year was hard. It's just, fitting in. I thought I was smart, but coming into that, it was just like, it's like I was entering college. Like, because a lot of things were entry level things.
Okay.
It was just real fast paced, and I almost failed that year.
Wow. And what grade were you at that time again?
7.
7. And there were mostly Caucasians, or was it mixed? What was the demographics?
I would say the ratio was like 75% Caucasian, and then everything else, you want to say African American, that could have took up like 15%, and then everything else would have been mixed race.
Okay.
We had people from Antarctica there, Italy. There was a lot of
different
foreign
nationalities.
exchange. Yes.
Okay. So your first year was a little tough. You almost failed. Then what?
The learning curve kicked on. Like I started finding things that I liked. I enjoyed dance more than what people think because it was the females. But I took dance and ballet to become better at football.
To become better with what?
With football and basketball.
Is that right?
Yeah, I learned that from one of my best defensive tackles to me in the world to play for Tampa Bay, Warren Sapp.
Okay.
I learned that from him watching his interviews. He took ballet, and I was like, wow. This big black brother took ballet to become better at his profession. I can do the same.
That's interesting. I guess it teaches you to be light on your feet, right? And I don't know. That's interesting.
I can say this now because I understand as a man, in my eyes, how important it is to understand your manlyhood and then understand your womanism part of it. And I think just being raised and brought up by women, I can fit in women categories or think that men at my age or that age would have thought, oh, that's silly. I was cool. I was very comfortable doing dance and ballet and stuff.
That's phenomenal. Wow. So then you, while you're there, you took up dance, and so do you think the boarding school helped you to change your perspective on life in that way, or in other areas? How did boarding school?
Yes. I have to say this because this changed my perspective in a way that I didn't even know I had said this to them, but my house parents told me the first day I got there, I told them I hate white people.
Is that right?
Now, they took me 4 years afterwards, and when they told me this, I'm looking at them like, yeah, right, I ain't never say this. Like, my whole perspective of my non-white descent changed dramatically because I understood that, in every culture and everything in life, you're going to have certain bad apples
Yeah.
and everything doesn't collectively hold the view for everybody else.
Right.
And, I think that was my biggest experience, not the fact that I transformed and I learned certain things or I soaked up things. I think that was my huge transformation because that was something unknowingly told, or I don't remember saying it. I can clearly remember the story of them telling me what I said.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had an experience or some experiences in order to make you say that. And it's unfortunate that in this society, we are still dealing with, racism. Um, and you know what? It's probably going to always be. And I believe why is because people have free will, choices to do good or to do bad, to be mean or to be nice. And unfortunately, a lot of children that, have that perspective of thinking that they're more superior than another race, they're taught that at home. And then they bring that to school. And I know personally about an incident that happened to someone very close to me where, that child got that from home. To be 8 years old and to say something so mean to another 8-year-old comes from home. So all of that is real and is very relevant. But knowing that and I don't know, like you said, you don't remember saying it. Maybe, who knows, you were upset and you were venting and whatever. But the fact that you went through boarding school and then came out with a different perspective in that way, that's a good thing, because I feel like to hold on to anything that is negative is not moving forward in life, because we have to realize there are going to be people out there that don't like us because of the color of our skin or because they think we're too good or whatever. There's going to always be somebody that don't like you, but there's going to be a lot of people that do like you. So we have to learn how to make it right and work for us, So that's great that you were able to leave the boarding school with that in check.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So how long did you go to boarding school?
4 years. I didn't graduate because of an incident.
Okay. What was that about?
Trying to juggle two worlds in my head. Fortunately, boarding school was only maybe an hour away from my house.
Mm-hmm.
So, fortunately, I can go home every weekend. So I was going home a lot. And that particular time, I was trying to fit in, thinking robbing the store was going to keep these certain friends around me when I already obviously future.
Okay.
I understand that then, I understand that now. But that's me trying to fit in. That 3 minutes cost me 60 months of my life.
Okay, so you get out of, so you're about in the 11th grade, and you made a bad decision, and
Yep.
and then your life went a whole different direction because of you choosing the wrong direction. Am I right?
Yep. I had to end up leaving Haitian school instead of getting kicked out, so it wouldn't be on my record.
Okay, so you just voluntarily left?
Yeah.
Okay. Did your mom have to sign you out, or you just on your own?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about. So you're saying you went away. You went to prison for.
Yeah, I went to prison
Okay.
for
Okay.
5 years.
For 5 years. And how did being in prison impact your life? And that time, what were you, like 17, 18?
I'm 18.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and I don't laugh. I only laugh at this because of, as I get older, I understand hidden in the windows and unknowingly told suggestions. But I've been learning a lot about Black mothers during slavery and, how they used to form a detachment knowing that their son or daughter would be sold, or if they show so much attachment, then, it would just hurt more. So, speed that up to when, I was like 15, 16. And I remember my mom used to always tell me, like, it's tax season. Make sure when you outside, you got 2 t-shirts on, you got 2 boxers on. And I didn't really know what she meant by that until my first day in jail. And I think that was my mom's way of, like, preparing me, knowing that there's potholes or proximity mines for Black males, whether we see them or not. But the likelihood or the high percentage of me going to jail, I think she just unknowingly knew. Mm-hmm. And that was her way of preparing me, whether she knows that or not. But, I just had this mental preparedness, and I wasn't scared. I didn't take the bait they were trying to give me to get lesser time, and I accepted exactly what I did, and I went behind bars with my head high, understanding I have this next 5 years is another chapter of my life that I put myself in this position, and knowing that I can put myself in positions that I can't handle. That's something I learned right there and then. Like, if I don't want to do something, I ain't doing it. I don't even care how you feel about me.
Right, exactly. But you know what? You took responsibility early on. Like you said, you didn't try to take whatever they were giving you to, you just took responsibility, self-accountability. And interesting that you said you think your mom was preparing you. I think that, yeah, she was probably preparing you for just, the reality of what it is to be a Black young man, a Black person anyways, in society. It's unfortunate, but you taking the stance that, well, I know what I did. Let me just go ahead and serve my time is big, and then so you're there, you're in jail, and that experience, aside from taking being self accountable, what was it like? Did you see other prisoners that been in and out? Did you tell yourself, I'm never gonna come back again, or what was going through your mind?
I have this. I feel like I just have a purpose, and I understood that purpose a little bit when I was younger. I just walk around, not feeling like I'm better than you. I'm just very comfortable with myself. Mm-hmm. And in those situations, you'll find a lot of people that are not comfortable with themselves. Yeah. With themselves, and you see somebody that is, it causes a form of jealousy, causes envy, whatever hidden agendas they may have in their mind. But with that, I had a sense of, hey, yo, don't mess with that dude. He ain't even with that shit. Oh, I'm sorry. He ain't with that stuff.
That's fine. Yeah.
Don't mess with that dude with that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, yo, you reading that book? Hey, yo, can you help me write my girl a letter? Can you write a love letter? I think that's how, transition, because I stay by myself,
Right.
I knew the pitfalls, not looking at nobody. So I ain't gambling with my mom's money. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I just had I came in with game, I came in with the game that I learned from my mom and my aunt that kept me in a sustainable place where I didn't get harassed. That 5 years, I didn't really have any trouble besides the trouble that I put myself into, which wasn't really,
right.
I just minded my business.
You think what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said I just minded my business.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, so it sounded like you minded your business, and you did a lot of reading and just kept to yourself. And people, the other guys in there, saw something different in you and decided, well, and instead of doing this, let's just pick his brain. Let's hey, let's leave him alone. He's he's a different breed, and that's a good thing.
I think that was my first That was my first hustle. I didn't. A lot of people, when they go to jail, they don't have support, and if they do, they don't have money support. There's a real weird influx of and I say this only because my girl, she works for a company. I'm not going to say their name, but she works for a food company. So if you want to order your family member who is an inmate, sometimes I'm privy to hear the price gouging in the sense. It's very insane. It's very insane.
Wow.
And with that, I had to find a hustle. Looking to take on that responsibility, like you said, this is me. I can't expect my mom to send me $100. You got all this coffee. So that was literally my first hustle. I wrote a letter to somebody, and they said, "Yo, you read a lot of books, yo. Can you write this?" And I just freaked out this, and he said, "Yo, this is so good." And then it just ran from word of mouth, and
wow.
That was my first. I didn't really have to worry about money coming in.
Wow. Okay, so basically they paid you to do that for them?
Gotcha.
Oh, wow. Hey, that is phenomenal. Wow, that's something else. Okay, so and see, that shows, I don't know, I'm sure you picked up on this, that was the revealing of one of your gifts.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Bible says your gift makes room for you on the earth. So that was, to me, a prime example of that. And turning something that could have been, just totally traumatic into good. So that's awesome. So why do you think, though, that some people get released from prison just to end up back in prison? You, of course, your story wasn't that.
Really, back in prison. I think for all our listeners that are going to be listening to this, you have to understand that there are proximity lines that are viewable and that are non-viewable, that has been set in place before I was born, before you were born, before your grandmother was born, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a format. But I think me understanding that format, I dodged a lot of them. And I think that information isn't being passed down. I think there's enough home education. I tell my stepkids, they're interbiracial, and I tell them all the time, I was like, just because you're hanging with these kind of people that look like this, if they get in trouble, they're the first people they're going to harass.
Yeah.
You need to understand why. And then you need to understand, okay, I can't put myself in these positions.
Right. It's called being wise.
Right. I was grateful that my mom was teaching me those things, whether I was soaking it up right there and then, but it was still my memory bank that I can pull out and like, oh, okay, now this makes sense.
Yes. Because we can't unhear what we hear. And even though at a young age you may not think that it means anything, it's your mom planted those seeds and you were able to
now,
access.
I learned while I was in upstate prior to my being released. I started taking AA classes, right? And I'm not an alcoholic, but addiction is addiction. And just hearing somebody's story could affect me or my outcome of thinking. So that's what my last 6 months was. And there was something I heard that made sense to me that this is what I need to do when I get out. And I think this helped me not go back. And it was simple, change my scenery. So when I didn't go to Harrisburg. I went, luckily I got a job through somebody that I knew in there, but it got me all the way south of the area to a town called Northeast PA.
Okay.
And I started working for them.
Yeah. So, your environment matters. The environment truly matters. So that, you said, helped you not to go back. So
yes, and everything. I needed everything to be new: the air, the people, working, just a whole different environment, thinking. People that didn't come from where I came from. I needed a 360 turn for me not to get back into that jailbird thing.
So would you say that was the most valuable lesson you learned while you were in prison, that you needed to get out and get into a new environment, new scenery?
And all in all, yes, we needed to be successful of walking the time off and not going back into that jail cell. Put myself closer to danger, rest in peace to my friend, and it's a sad situation, and he was one of me. He was a guy just like me, and he came home 2 days before me, and he just got in the wrong car.
Oh my!
Situations like.
Sorry to hear that.
So, yeah, I encourage people, especially if they're going that kind of time, 5 years or more, 3 years or more, or just any kind of time. If you want to be successful, you have to change your environment. You got to change the environment.
That is good. That is really good. So let's fast forward. I know you are in the music industry. Let's talk about that. Give me the background on how you got into music. And just a fun fact, I love music. I've always loved music. I started writing when I was a child, wrote my first song. I don't know how to play any instruments, right? But I used to write lyrics, and I shared with you when we were messaging on Instagram, I shared with you I have two sons that are in the industry, and their dad actually was pretty big in the industry. So how did that come about?
Well, I'm going to say this segment, and then I'm going to speed it up, because there's certain things like I'm starting to catch on now of how and why I got to this situation. But there was a period in time when I was in boarding school. My friend Mike Horn, and what was his brother's name, his younger brother? But they had me manage them to do rap battles. And I just remember this earlier this year, like, oh, I do remember that, like setting up times for them to battle other people and stuff.
Okay.
but how I got to where I'm now, so I'm in the town where I'm at now, and working at a smoke shop, and I see this black brother comes in with some cool with a cool shirt on it. So I'm asking him about his shirt. He telling me, he's an artist, he's in the music, blah, 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 and he also sells merch. So we form a relationship, and just my ability to be able to talk, to have an outreach or be able to go out and talk to people comfortably and do research and stuff like that, he hired me as his marketing.
Okay.
I hit it for his label. And, that turned into me being management, marketing, and advertising of the label.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't pan out, and I just started strictly focusing on management. And that took a toll. It just felt like me as a person, I just can't be in tune with somebody's life like that to dictate. Or it was just a lot of mental beat up on my part.
Okay.
So, all right, so I was like, I did this, all right, what do I feel comfortable doing? And that transformed into just strictly promoting artists, because I have a knack for promoting, I have a knack for contacting people, getting sponsorships or writing up proposals and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, this fits more better. And I started forming relationships. That's part of networking, forming relationships. And I formed a great relationship with my bosses, my partners now, 105.7 The Box Radio and Fresh Song TV series. It was one day I was watching, shout out to the Breakfast Club. That's the only network of news that I really watch every day. Mm-hmm. But I was watching it, and there was this black female owner talking about her playlist. And I was like, I like this idea. Mm-hmm. My homie, Sam, who is my partner and my boss, he has a Twitch show. So I wrote up a proposal, and he was like, yeah, they love the idea. So it's transformed into a music showcase show. And then the last 15 minutes would be the TV pick of the week, which would be me, just roughly talking about whatever I'm listening to or anything involving music. And then I would have my pick of the week. Mm-hmm. It could have been from a fire song that I just heard or a song from an artist that I was personally promoting, trying to get some more highlight or get some more views on it. And right now, I've been sticking with them. My TV playlist is a Spotify featured playlist. At this moment, I personally promote 8 artists. And on the underhand, I promote an artist and 2 DJs.
Okay.
Our Twitch show is the #1 music showcase show on Twitch.
Okay.
We're all partners. And we have a podcast, too. Mm-hmm. The podcast is titled Free Game Podcast, CLMG, and The Glue. Based on our busy schedule.
Can I ask you, where'd you get the glue from?
All right, so the glue came from one of the artists that I used to manage. And, it makes sense. When I broke down to, I started at marketing, then marketing came to advertising came to management, pretty much running everything on the label, then doing management, and then doing promoting. I have a knack to do whatever. I can do whatever. And that's what that name came from. He was like, yo, you're the glue.
Right.
Everything you still do, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
With you, everything sticks.
I got you. That's great.
Come together.
Okay. That's wonderful. What is your biggest inspiration for doing what you do?
Honestly, I'm at a point, and I have been at this point in life for a while, and I think it just goes to my full independence. I want to create something where the man doesn't have anything involved in it, where it's just pure my thinking, pure my draft, pure my hands in the dirt. Um,
Pure
and
creativity on your part.
yes,
Got it.
that's pretty much
That's
it.
it.
Like,
Yeah, okay. So, we are all creators, and I just don't think we all know that. Our creator created us, and that makes us creators. And I think everybody has that desire in them. I think everybody has creativity within them. It's just tapping into what you can do to create. We know that if it wasn't for, wow, my mind just went totally blank. The Apple guy that created Apple. I don't know, how could I?
the
Jobs,
guy who
Jobs,
created it.
Jobs. Yeah.
Okay.
We wouldn't be on the iPhone, right? There's creativity all around us, and I believe we all have that, innately. And I think that I marvel at people who create whatever it is. If I see somebody that has drawn a portrait, I'm like, wow. Or somebody who knits a blanket or whatever. I'm very much impressed with creativity and people, that have these talents. I'm about encouraging them to take it to the next level because, again, I just think that we are all creators, and that's a gift that we're all given. And so when you know that you have that understanding and you're cognitive of that, then yeah, that's what you want to do. I'm constantly creating in my head. I'm thinking about stuff, wow, and it's phenomenal. So I think that's a good thing, that you are inspired to be that creative being. And this takes me to the next thing. I know that you are very much into helping artists break into the industry independently. So that goes along with what you call basically being in control of what you're doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's phenomenal. I try to tell that to my son. Hey, you should just figure out a way to do it independently, But because there's a lot of opportunity out there, especially with this age of technology and information. I just think there is no limit to what we can do. So that is great. And so then, how do you encourage people to break through independently?
Try to go down a quick list. So you want to understand why do you want to be an artist? What makes you an artist? Why is it you think people want to hear your music? What are you offering to this community or the world or a person per se? You have to do research. You can't just upload a song and expect a label to look at you. It's not how it works. You have to build legs to it. You have to have a catalog. You have to be willing to want a partnership or want to partner. You have to build partnership. Shout out to my guy Stan. And I know this, first and foremost, he's been rapping, I'm just going to say 5+ years, and the most money he's made has not been off of rap or music.
What has it been off of?
It came off of partnerships from Twitch or YouTube or show or merch. It had nothing to do with his actual music. I think the IC said he made the most money in his life from Twitch contracts.
Okay. That's
and I think and I want to put this out there too because people don't understand the percentage of who makes it. So I personally promote 8. Next year, honestly, there's going to be 5. At the end of this year, next year, I'm only going to probably personally promote 5.
Why is that?
And that's because of lack of drive or lack of motivation.
Okay.
And then next year, it's probably going to drop to 3. This is an industry where you have to constantly work. Like, I spent most of my Friday night drafting up a proposal to try to get sponsorships for my artists. When most people outside partying, it takes a huge amount of dedication if you want this to work. And you get in it thinking, oh yeah. Oh man, I only got $20 left. Do I put this in promotion? Yes.
Yeah. So promotion is big, you think, right? That's the main thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Promotion is big.
Okay.
If you get paid every 2 weeks and you're getting $700, I think 200 has to go right into your music career.
Right.
Promotion.
Right. Awesome. Well, that's a great thing you're doing, because a lot of artists, young artists, they don't really know the ins and the outs. So that's a phenomenal thing that you're doing to help
The
them.
game was given to me for free, and most of the game I learned was given to me for free. The other half, I took the time to learn, but I also know how am I going to be a boss, or how am I going to pass down the lineage if I don't do the thing that was doing or given to me. I have to get the game that I was taught for free, or get the game my time or money out to learn and still give for free, because that's how you create a lineage. And 2, that's how you cut out the middleman. And when I say the middleman, I mean the engine.
Okay.
Why a lot of people on independent route, because people see that you don't need the engine anymore. People see that, okay, all I have to do is take these necessary steps and I can do it independently.
Yes.
So the more free that I pass down, this makes it easier for the next person.
Right. Awesome. So we're getting towards the end of this podcast, and I wanted to have you share some words of inspiration with our listeners. Maybe someone's out there struggling with a negative mindset or going down the wrong path in life. What words of inspiration can you share?
Well, I always say that when you're working harder than other people, you're going to come across hate. And then you're going to come across, or you're going to think about it as you don't understand it, or you don't understand why this person is hating on you. You can't stop yourself or pivot, because once you let somebody deter your feelings, you never know how long that rabbit hole is going to go. Understand that if one person is hating on you, then they see success. They see something that they are not capable of doing, or they see something that they want to do. So that should burn a fire in you to keep it up.
Awesome.
Keep going.
Right. Let the hateration fuel you, right?
Yes.
Awesome. That's good. I just think that's really good advice. So listeners, if you're dealing with people that are hating on you, they're jealous, they're envious, see that as a good thing and keep it rolling. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. How can people find you, Trey? Find out more about what you are doing in your business?
Okay, so if you have Spotify, you can search my playlist, the TG playlist. Under that, you'll see all the playlists that I curate.
Okay.
If you're a music listener, you can look up the Glue TGPR or TGPR playlist. My Instagram is _glue_Trey. And there you'll find pretty much what I get into. You'll find the link to the First on TV, so you can hear some good music on Twitch, on my playlist, who my bosses are, and who my artists are.
Awesome. Great. Okay, and I'll be sure to add that to the show notes in case people miss it. But I want to thank you. I thank you for sharing your story, your background. I'm sure it did encourage some people out there. I am really appreciative for you taking your time. It's nothing like hearing somebody else who might have gone through, a little turbulence in life and turned their life around, because I'm a firm believer that, we can always do better. Once we know better, we do better, So I applaud you for moving forward, and I love what you're doing, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, very much appreciative. Anytime, right? Anytime you want to talk, have an interview.
Yeah, we could do this again someday. Definitely. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thanks again for listening. You can find me online at katrinajohnson.online, at I am Katrina Johnson on Instagram, and on YouTube, Katrina Johnson Inspires, at The Katrina Johnson Show. Until next time, stay inspired.